series on YouTube later, name to be announced. But I just have so many questions. I want to know why rehab facilities give my friends, including myself, a wheelchair that's like 3-4 inches too big, and I never fill it out, and then I get shoulder issues because I'm stuck in this chair for 5 years that's way too big. Or the fact that nobody tells us there's a catheter that can actually help us reduce our chance of getting UTIs when we use an intermittent catheter, and they just tell you, no, UTIs are normal, and keep giving you prescriptions for antibiotics to get rid of them, and then you end up with C. diff, which is an infection in your intestines. Not everyone ends up with that, but that's what happened to me, okay? It's like, why am I not told about electric stimulation and its effects on my spasms and nerve pain and reducing the currents of those two things? There's so much information that these rehab facilities don't have and don't tell us, and it's like they're disconnected with the community after they leave the acute setting. And I think that's a big issue for the success and the long-term success of an individual that acquires a spinal cord injury, along with children born having to use wheelchairs. I think that the lack of information their parents are often given allows their parents to enable them, and then all of a sudden they're in this weird space where they don't realize what all's available to them. They don't realize the control they have over choosing what doctor, wheelchair tire, you know, like there's so many details in this life that we have control over that we believe we don't. From who sends us our medical supplies every month, like that's a choice. What brand of medical supplies we use, like catheter brands are a choice. And it's wild. I worked for a DME who's a supplier, and he would tell me to push Cure catheters because that's the one we got the biggest reimbursement on, because insurance reimburses all catheters the same, just some of them are recognized as a premium catheter, so the actual cost of purchasing them for the supplier is more, so they don't get as much back. And so they'll tell you that it isn't covered, so that way they don't have to, they can get more money and then give you the cheaper one for them and get more money in their pocket rather than worrying about your health. So like I use Lofric brand catheters because it's the only catheter that's actually clinically proven on humans to reduce UTI by over 64%. The only catheter clinically proven on humans. Like some of these other brands are starting to say that they're proven to reduce UTI, but they don't have the actual clinical proof. This brand is 64% clinically proven to reduce UTIs. But like, no, why is our rehab nurse not telling us about it, or a doctor after prescribing us Cipro for the 5th time, you know? I was constantly prescribed an antibiotic for my first year of injury, and as soon as I got off of it, I'd have to get back on it because I didn't have a UTI again. And then I switched to this catheter and I don't have that problem anymore. And I think it's like, it's the smallest adjustments that can have the biggest effect. But the information's just not out there for these people. And so I'm putting together a series, and I'm gonna drop some information, and I'm literally just gonna dive in, man, dive into the different things that have helped me achieve more independence as a wheelchair user. Like I did some things I obviously don't recommend to people, like treat your legs with kindness. I think that's always number one. Even though they don't work, they're still attached to you, treat them with kindness. Focus on your health and wellness. Don't take a long time to kind of get that under control. Make sure you're eating enough and drinking enough, even though, so like you're trying to manage your bladder, and so often we think that we have to completely, you know, not drink anything, dehydrate ourselves just to manage it so we don't pee ourselves. And it's actually the opposite. So like I drink over 100 ounces of water a day, and I don't have the issue as much as I used to. Until my Botox starts to wear off, then it's a little bit more. But that's the thing, I get bladder Botox. Like there's Lovenox shots for a male to get an erection. Like there's so much out there that just isn't talked about in the beginning, and so then you don't have that. I feel like it's removing that chance of having hope of living a full life after a wheelchair, with a wheelchair. And so I really just want to unpack all of it because there's just so much. There's so many tools and things that can make this life a lot more tolerable and easy. Like I don't see myself as a disabled person, especially working with the general public. I see more people that are so much more disabled than I am. Like they're mentally disabled, and my physical disability has nothing on that. Like, they are disabled by their own mind, and they're stuck where they're at because they're so disabled, and it's very sad. I'm not disabled. I'm enabled. I'm empowered because of this. And like, yeah, I have my moments where I hate my body, but I'm empowered because I'm a wheelchair user, for freaking sure. Like, I have more confidence now than I ever had. I have more self-love now than I ever had in my life. I never really cared for myself. I didn't even like me as a person, and now I'm my favorite person to spend time with. And so I think it's very powerful what using your struggle and your obstacles in life, when you use those as an opportunity, there's so much that can come back to you. And when you let go of that victim mindset of why me, why this happened to me, poor me, oh, but they can do this, they have this amount of free time, they have this or that, and stop comparing our situation to others and where others are, I think it's very empowering for the self, and to help you grow and develop into what you're actually capable of becoming, because we're capable of so much more than we limit our mind to. And when we think we don't have anything left, we have a lot in the tank. I believe the statistics around, we operate around like 40% of our maximum capacity, and so it's very interesting how quick we are to say that we can't do something. That's all I got. See you guys again soon.